Honesty alert number one, I broke my watch. This watch is broken. I did it, it's 100% me, it's my fault. So it's messed up my review a bit, but I thought I'd turn a negative into a positive. You know how? There's two things I wanted to do to this watch anyway. It's just impacted my ability to show you the watch working when I do my full review. This is kind of a weird video for you guys. It's going to be a mixture of review and 2 mods I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to do now. Quick mini review update. Effectively, this is a fantastic watch. The build quality, all the proportions are right, the weight, the comfort. It's got a great specification. It's, you know, not much more than $200, so it's good value for money. For what you get top hats, sapphire, AR coated crystal, you get NH35 movement, all this beautiful machining on the bracelet, the case, it's beautiful polishing. The lume is spectacular on this. I mean, I did a time lapse 15 minutes and I got bored because I was like, this isn't fading. It's that good. It's incredible lume. They do 15 layers minimum on these watches. The two things I was bugged about, and a lot of you guys have said the same thing. The first thing is the main thing you guys have mentioned, and that is the black date wheels. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put another NH35 in this, one with a white date wheel. That's the first thing to help balance out sort of the dial aspect of this piece. And the second mod I'm going to do is, because I kind of messed the hands up, unfortunately, this is how I broke the watch, is I was going to get a bit of fluff out from underneath, do some inspection, do some close-ups of things with the watch apart and things like that. I thought I'd be clever. But for the first time in a very long time, I actually managed to break my watch doing it. So that was a massive nightmare. So I thought I'm going to have to reevaluate how I do this video. Movements are easy and cheap to replace with a white date wheel. And I'm going to change the hands. Because I messed the hands up, what happens? They got scratched, believe it or not. You can see there the scratching. You know how? When I had the back of the watch open and I was trying to get the movement out, it was wedged in there. The tolerances are almost 0 and it was so perfectly in there because it was a brand new watch. I just couldn't get it out. So I was trying to tease it out with my screwdriver and tweezers and things. What effectively happened was I managed to pry the dial away from the movement, trying to tease it, and that was pushing the hands away. Because the hands were binding together and then rubbing themselves together, it caused obviously damage within the movement because the hands were fighting against each other, and then it caused damage through into the movement. I was like, oh, so what a mess. But it's also highlighting I can get for about 20 to 30 pounds of brand new movement. But the hands, on the other hand, pardon the pun, oh my god, but why not do something clever with the hands? I love the black aspect with the black numbers in the bezel insert, black text on the dial. Why not have some contrast with the orange? What works so well with orange? Black. I've ordered some custom black hands to go on this watch because I bought the orange one because it looks like a modded watch. So why not carry on and do more mods? My first modified San Martin. Trying to tease it. Everything else about the watch I think is absolutely incredible. The comfort, the machining. This bracelet is spectacular. It really is. It's beautifully made. It's so comfortable. A few little sharp edges here and there. Not sharp as in it's going to cut you, but it's just could do with an extra tiny bit of honing on the edges here. The screws came in and out to resize it. Loads of micro adjusts. You're going to get this to fit you really well. So that's kind of my mini review out of the way. It's been 4 minutes of me waffling. Let's do the next part of this video, and that is let's modify. So the NH35 in this watch is running quite nicely, and it's my donor movement to put into this watch. So all I've got to do is get everything out of this and put what I need in there with the new hands. So let's get down to business. So I've already got the movement out, pretty straightforward. If you want to know more about how to get movements out and things like that, check out my mod playlist. I've got everything on there you need to know. This is just a quick guide as me taking this watch apart so you can see the transformation with the new one. So pop the hands off, where you can just lever it off about there. Dial off. Let's basically take the crown out now, and that's ready to be transferred into the San Martin. So here's the San Martin, taking the bracelet off. So a bit of plastic, caseback removal tool. Open this up. Now I need to carefully remove everything from in here. I'm trying to tease it. So crown out first. What should happen is I just turn this out. Oh Christ! Turn this out like that. But it was super tight the first time. Because I've had this out eventually, I could get it out. So I'll put that aside. So now we've got that. I want to take this off as well. That's a spacer. Get that back in there. They're all roughly together there. It really doesn't matter because I'm not using this movement. Lever arms underneath. I'm trying to tease. We pluck it off. That's it. Hands are off. Now I need to get this dial off. Same again. Just literally push fit. Put that aside. So here's the working movement. I'm going to get this dial on. Before I do that, I'm going to put my finger cots on as I'm doing some more intricate work now. So let's get this dial on. I think the date was around 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. The 10th. I think the date was around the 10th. So that should be, yep, that pushes straight on. That feels okay. I'm going to double check that by putting it in my movement holder. Forgot I had this, silly boy. So you twizzle as you poke in, so it doesn't, you're not forcing it in. Now, I'm going to put the hands on the right way. All I've got to do is keep turning this until the date just clicks over. Then I put the new hands on at 12 o'clock. Easy as that. Twizzle as you poke in. So I've just turned it until it literally clicked over to the next day. Now I can put the hands on. So I'll get them out of the packaging and we can carefully put them on. So over here is the first hand. I bought these from 1 second closer. This, I think they're called the Thunderbolt. I got for this matte black and they came as a set. They're great value and the quality is always outstanding. So, and the lume is green. It's going to match the San Martin and it should last as long as well. So pick it up with a bit of this Burgeon Rodico and then I use my plastic tweezers to carefully, oh, dropped it already, which is 12 o'clock. So gently lay that on there, which is not easy. Then I use a hand pressing tool, make sure we've got the right end, the right size, and very carefully seat it in place. Now I'm going to check, move this around to 6 o'clock. Let's get the minute hand on there. Now we place this pointing at the top there, because it's 6 o'clock now. Oh, that's fiddly today for some reason. Oh man, that's stressful. Now let's see if this all lines up still. 7, 8, 9. Well, looks good to me. Last one, which is literally the worst, an absolute nightmare, is the second hand. Nice. Let's get it on. Please work. You get the idea why this is so tricky. Press this down. Hopefully this is the moment. Oh, joy. It actually works. Praise the Lord. Now, I'm going to check all the hands don't snag each other. I'm going to put this watch back together and then we can make sure everything's all puffed before I put it back together. And now I'll give you the final reveal of my slightly improved brand new San Martin. So here it is, the completed article. This was stressful, to be honest with you, to do because it's nerve-wracking because I was already probably a bit nervous because I broke it already. And I wanted to put it back together and do it right this time. So let's take this off. As you see, these hands, lovely satin black to go with the black on here and the black text on the dial. Change the date wheel to a white one. Well, effectively just by changing the movement out. But this is movements running +9 a day, which is definitely acceptable. Everything works as it should. This screws in perfectly still. It's now a functioning watch, but it's like a double modded watch. It came with the orange dial and the hands, which I do like the hands to be honest, but I was so gutted I damaged them. But it's one of those things where I thought, you know, let's, like I said, flip it round, change it round. I thought black hands, let's see it. These are the best I sort of thought I could do with. So I'll show you how good the lume is. See, it matches it absolutely perfectly. It just doesn't quite last as long as the indices, but it is still acceptable. Look at that. It still matches. And I like these hands. They look like swords. They look really like they're slicing their way around the dial. It's just really good. So an unusual twist on my usual format as kind of a review / mod. I mean, the review is kind of been covered with the first impressions, but you know, I did my best. You know, I'm so sorry I messed it up and you're not getting a true representation of the standard watch, but you know, at least you get to see a first. No one else has done this in the world yet on this model, the new release from San Martin. Change the hands and change that date wheel, which has been a controversial thing. So here it is with a white date wheel. What do you think? Have I totally fudged it up even more again? Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now.